We'd like to welcome everyone back to another episode of the Pepper Soup Talk Show.
Pepper Soup Talk.
Where we bring to the table movers and shakers in the African diaspora. And please go check out episode 10 featuring Odie, Black Men and Mental Health, to get all the game that he was dropping on that day. But today, we want to talk about a course that Odie is dropping. He has a financial wellness course.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. And we really want to get into that and also just kind of learn about the growth that's been happening. Odie's live on TikTok right now.
Yeah, that's facts. What's cracking?
You may have heard Sekou call him TikTok Jay-Z. You said how many followers you hit on TikTok?
As of literally just about a couple hours ago, I'm at 89,300.
89,000 followers on TikTok.
Yeah.
In not that long a time either.
No, in about a year.
In the years. So we want to hear about your TikTok journey too. And along with the financial wellness course, which is what we're here for, and anything else you got going on, as well. So welcome back to Pepper Soup Talk, Odie.
Most definitely. I'm always glad to be here with y'all fellas, man. Like y'all were the first group of Africans I was started rocking with when I came to Philly. You know what I'm saying? It's like I facilitated a family here, so that's what we doing.
Right.
All together. So we are here to talk about the money mindsets, right? We're here to talk about, the financial wellness and things of that nature. And earlier, Aki, when we were talking, I said, usually when we're talking about money or usually when we're talking about finance, we tend to think about numbers all the time. And financial wellness, financial therapy is a little bit different from that because we're not looking at the numbers themselves. We're looking at what the numbers mean. We're looking at what the numbers represent. So, for example, one of the largest budget busters in the United States is takeout food. Okay. Right? Why do you think that is?
Because people aren't cooking, or it's easy.
Right. It's easy. People aren't cooking.
Out, yeah.
Right. So that's from a microsystemic perspective. You're looking at it from the nucleic family. You're looking at it from, just the people who are immediately around you. Yeah. When we start looking at it from different systems, so I'm utilizing systems theory essentially in order to contextualize personal finance. When we're looking at it from a mesosystemic and a macrosystemic perspective, I got you. So,
Odie, you have to understand, man. You gotta dissect some of these words because we want to understand.
I got you.
And be able to soak up all the gems and knowledge that you dropping today. All right.
Yeah.
Certain vernacular right now. We get us up there. Get us up to speed.
I got you.
These guys, man. This guy's smart. Using big words.
All right. So we got microsystemic. So microsystemic basically means what's immediately around you. Okay. And in systems theory, 9 times out of 10, it means your nucleic family or the family that you're immediately born with. Your mother, your father, sisters, brothers, what have you, right? And at times it can extend into extended family depending upon what culture you're talking about, right? Then you have mesosystemic, and mesosystemic is essentially where these smaller groups meet to create larger communities, right? So we're talking about schools, we're talking about neighborhoods, we're talking about things of that nature, right? And macrosystemic is where these communities, these groups of people come to create the collective unit, whether it be the United States, Germany. That's how you come to create cultures. That's how you come to create ideas. That's how you come to create identities in that type of space, right? So looking at it from a financial perspective, in the United States, a lot of people spend a lot of money on food, and it's not always because they don't feel like cooking. Sometimes they don't have the time. Right. Why don't they have the time? Work demands, family demands, but mostly it's work demands. Right. A number of Americans have started moving away from their jobs. They've started quitting their jobs. They started working from home during the pandemic because the pandemic showed us that we can revolutionize how it is that we work. Right? So that's mesosystemic, right? People are spending a lot more money on food. People are spending a lot more. Matter of fact, what's one category that shot up in spending during the pandemic? Food. There's a particular type of thing. It's not just food. If you could take a wild guess, what would it be?
Take out like or something.
I mean, yeah,
It's something that you can consume, but it's not necessarily food.
Not necessarily food. Weed.
Close.
Alcohol.
Alcohol,
Yes.
right? And they got more expensive.
Absolutely, right? They started having shortages, right? Alcohol became one of the largest things that were consumed by Americans during the pandemic. Why?
People were going through it.
People were going through it, right? Do you see how quickly your mental or emotional state can translate into you spending more money?
Yep.
Just that fast.
Yep.
Just that fast.
Yep, man. Like they said, sometimes people just eat with their feelings, or like they spend with their feelings. And the reason why we spend a lot of money because of stress. Like that's why a lot of people go out. They go out to the bar. They want to see their friends. It's a way to de-stress.
Absolutely.
Because we live in a very stressful environment because we constantly working.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And when you have that little bit of time, how do you want to spend it?
Absolutely.
And you out there socializing, right? We on the street. Somebody just tweeted, like I think it was a tweet said, "We on the street is costing me a lot of money."
Bro, I went outside the other day and shit you not, bro. I was outside for like 2 minutes and I spent $150, bro.
Yo.
It outside is expensive, bro.
Outside
It
is
costs
very
money
expensive.
to breathe.
Yep.
I'm gonna be honest. The pandemic was like being on lockdown was the first time I was able to save money without thinking about it. It was the most effortless kind of ordeal. Like immediately we started going back outside again.
My credit,
Bro said as soon as they unlock the door, I'm out that joint. Right? But that's facts. That's facts. Now, if we're breaking it down into a purely psychological context, money is what we call a secondary reinforcer, right? So you have a primary reinforcer and a secondary reinforcer. A primary reinforcer is something that can be utilized in order to elicit particular behavior outcomes because it's based in biological needs. Food, water, sex, shelter. These are primary reinforcers. Which is the reason why we're going to get into secondary reinforcers. A secondary reinforcer is something that you can utilize in order to connect it or associate it with a primary reinforcer in order to elicit a particular behavioral response. Money is a secondary reinforcer because we use it in order to purchase what it is that we need to be primarily reinforced. Right? So when you're hungry, you tend to spend more money on food. When you know what I'm saying, when you a little lonely, you tend to spend more money on things that you know what I'm saying, that's gonna attract women or men to you. You feel what I'm saying? When, I guess you could say when you're down on yourself, right? You tend to spend more money, like we saw in the pandemic, on intoxicants, right? Notice how I've not named one number. I've not said any numbers yet.
Right.
This entire conversation is completely and totally about the relationships between emotions, behaviors, and money, right? So I'm going to use the example that Sekou used. You go to the bar, you don't go to the bar to drink. You can drink by yourself. You go to the bar for the ambiance. You go to the bar for the environment. You go to the bar so that you can mix those feelings with that liquor and be in that space so you can forget about what it is that you're engaging in. You can forget about life for however long you are there. Right? And you tend to forget about everything else too, because how many times you have been to the club and you don't remember what you did the night before? Exactly. You're trying to forget. Right? You're trying to escape. So a lot of us use money as a tool of escape. And what tends to happen in that situation is that unless you have an inordinate amount of money, or unless your debt to income ratio is much, 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 much larger or way on the positive side, you cannot use money to escape your reality. You cannot. It is impossible.
We got pause right there for a second because people need to take a moment right now based on what you just shared to actually reflect on that.
Right.
You know, sometimes we just need a moment to process what you say because that was really powerful.
Right. Most definitely.
And then some of us, like, we learn it the hard way.
Absolutely.
Right. We learn it the hard way.
You learn it by getting into
we learn that money. If I get money,
learn it by getting over it.
That will help me to resolve most of my problem, right? So then some of us are desperate. Then we make some decisions to really get the money. But then once you get money, then you realize like you still have the same problem.
Right.
Right? So
Or if you're utilizing credit, you realize that the problem has now become larger because now you're paying interest on money that you didn't have to begin with. Right? So in a very real way, if you are not mindful about how it is that you spend your money, you are in a keen sense robbing yourself in the future from the money that you could potentially be using, because that's all a credit line is. A credit line is an extension of invisible money that is based upon your ability to pay it back, and in that period of time your ability to pay it back can significantly shift, and in that instantaneous moment your credit score can drop from here to here, and all of a sudden within a quarter, not even within a year, within a quarter you have now placed yourself at an economic disadvantage based upon the fact that you could not manage not your money but your emotions.
So this is about managing emotions.
Exactly.
This is what it's about.
Emotions.
This is, and I think I love what Odie is sharing, because it's like you're just talking about the foundation of human well-being, the foundation of like setting yourself up for success. And that first step is being able to acknowledge your emotion, process your emotions, and then, because our emotion drive our actions.
Absolutely.
I'm a huge believer in that.
Absolutely.
And that's something that I feel like without that knowledge, we're taking certain actions that are really hurting us.
Absolutely.
Instead of helping us.
Absolutely.
But your actions are triggered by your emotions.
Absolutely. Right.
And really understanding where that driver is coming from. Most people, you mentioned this idea of primary reinforcer.
Yes.
Most people aren't thinking about primary reinforcers when they're spending money, or they're thinking about the secondary reinforcer.
Absolutely.
And so really understanding at the root of it why it is you're spending, why it is you're making the decisions that you're making at the very root of it. So
all right, so I'm gonna give y'all another example. The phrase sex sells. Why do you think that happens? Why do you think that occurs?
Why does sex sell? If it feels one of these reinforcers, I'm talking about one of the primary reinforcers.
Absolutely. But in a societal sense, why does it sell?
I mean, I wish, hopefully some of our viewers will give us like their perspective. Aki and I are a little bit struggling with this. So help us out.
Hey, my boy, I was struggling with it a couple of years ago. I'm not gonna hold you.
And it's okay to struggle with this response, though.
Right.
It's okay, because it's a deep question.
Yes, man. We all learning.
Exactly.
It's a learning experience.
But go ahead, Odie. Take us away.
All right. So sex sells for a couple of reasons. One, and TikTok probably gonna ban me because they be banning me all the time, but it don't matter. It don't matter. Anyway, sex sells. The reason why it sells is two reasons. One, you're absolutely right. It meets one of those primary reinforcers, and it gives us a feeling that we are either A, socially desirable, or B, socially desired. What do I mean by that? If I can engage in transactional sex, it gives me a false sense of being larger than I am as a man, right? So it makes me feel as if though I am more powerful than I actually am. That's one. Two, in a lot of ways, sex is still kind of taboo, right? You can't just see somebody walking down the street butt naked unless you like in K&A, you feel what I'm saying? But at the same time, it's still a space where it's almost like a pay to play. You have to access this space. A lot of dudes like, oh, I ain't paying for no da-da-da-da. If you take that woman out on a date, if you pay for her to get to and from, if you're doing all of these things in order for you to obtain the behavioral outcome of intercourse, you are still spending money.
Lots of money.
Yeah.
And it depends on the city you live in, too.
Depending on the city you live in, depending on how many partners you got. Listen, bro. Listen, it can get hectic. Cause like back in 2020, between 2019 and the end of 2020, beginning of 2021, I was engaging with multiple partners. Right. When women say date within your tax bracket, that is what they mean. Dating is expensive not because of what you are spending money directly on, but what it is that you think you need to spend money on in order to obtain the outcome.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
It's what we've been socialized to believe. So I'm gonna give you an example. My mother told me, William, if you cannot pay for A to Z on a date, don't ask.
Yep.
Do not ask. Don't ask.
Yep.
Right? So for me, that translated, that's a type of socialization. For me, that translated into a thought, right? In cognitive behavior therapy, you're absolutely correct. Behaviors propel thoughts, which propel emotions. It's omnidirectional. It's EBT, emotions, behaviors, thoughts. That's in cognitive behavior therapy, right? So we have the emotion, we have the behavior, we have the thought. The thought is, I cannot ask a woman out on a date unless I can pay for it. The behavior then becomes, I'm going to find a way to make this money. The emotion can then become, I'm frustrated because I'm not achieving this goal, therefore I am less socially desirable. Once again, all of that goes into financial behaviors.
All right, man. Listen, we're gonna be here all day.
This is already an episode.
I mean, yo, brother, I wish we just. I mean, listen. Thank you for that jam, man.
No problem.
That was
Let
real
that breathe.
jam. Because sometimes when you just drop knowledge like that, we do have to again take that pause. Let us process what you're saying.
Right.
But that was powerful.
Right. And it's
and it makes sense. It sounded really like Akia and I sitting here.
Yeah.
Man, it's resonating with me.
Most definitely.
Because definitely, I see myself in that sort of what you just shared with us. I see myself exactly what you're talking, but I wasn't thinking about it that way.
Right. And it's interesting because a lot of the times when we talk about, once again, when we talk about finance, when we talk about, budgeting, when we talk about saving for retirement, when we talk about credit repair, when we talk about credit maintenance, all of these things, the core in all of these different segments is your behavior. That's it. Bottom line. 65% of your credit score off rip is based upon things you can control. 65%. Paying on time, right? The amount of recurring revolving balances that you have, right? In the age of your credit lines, right? The only way you can keep a credit line open for long enough for it to age is if you do the other two things, right? You have to pay it on time, and you have to keep that revolving balance low. The reason why I know this is because I literally just took almost 100-point hit on my credit because I was risking, not necessarily my credit, but I was risking my income in order to generate more income being a self-employed coach. Unfortunately, it didn't work out that way, so I had to go back to the drawing board, right? Right now, my credit is in the trash. It is horrible, right? I now have to reconstruct how it is that I go about particular things because I know that is a financial goal of mine, right? I now have to dedicate more time and energy and more discipline to my behaviors in order to make sure that does not happen again. I cannot have that happen again. The reason being is because I need my credit score to be in a particular place in order to leverage that, not to buy houses, not to buy cars, but to generate passive income. Right? Because if you learn how to leverage credit lines, you understand how to generate passive income by using other people's money.
Yep.
Right?
OPM.
Right? OPM is a really fancy way of saying either credit, somebody funding you, what have you. But in my mind, if you are engaging in a type of investment that does not have a particular type of return, I'm not risking that.
Right.
It doesn't make any sense. But once again, those are all behaviors. These are all thoughts and behaviors that are based upon emotions. I want to make sure that my family is secure. I want to make sure that when I get old enough, I can provide for my people the same way my people have provided for me. That is an emotion. That is my why. The behavior is the what. Right? What am I doing in order to achieve this goal? Am I being diligent? Am I being disciplined? Am I making sure that I'm only taking out as much as I honestly need? And the only way that you can make that appraisal or that estimate is, once again, behaviors. You have to do the research, right? Right now I got like $135,000 in student loan debt. Yeah. Really not worried about it. The reason being, one or two things is gonna happen. One, I'm gonna figure out how to pay it. Two, I ain't. That's just what it is.
That's it.
Right.
There's no in between.
There ain't no in between. I'm either gonna figure out how to pay it or I'm not.
Yeah, but at some point you're gonna have to look at yourself in the mirror.
Exactly.
And be like,
That's the point. That's the point. Like, damn, bro, I really
this
can't
ain't
pay this
going
joint. Like, why? Right?
Yeah.
But once again, there are a myriad of programs. There are a myriad of options. There are a myriad of ways for you to deconstruct that, because a lot of people, when they see that number, it's large, it's scary, it's terrifying. Over 10 years, over 20 years, it becomes less, right? So let's think about it like this. What's, for either one of you all, what's a dream thing that you want to buy?
Like are we talking about assets or liability right now?
Liabilities.
You want me a Tesla?
You want a Tesla? Which one? I need you to be as specific as you possibly can.
A Tesla, a Model S.
A Model S. Yeah. Do you want the P90? Do you want the Plaid? Which one do you want? There are multiple. The Plaid.
I like the Plaid. I haven't delved any further into it than that, to be honest.
So that's a behavior, right? You stopped at I want the Tesla Model S.
Yeah. That's
not specific enough, because there are multiple different types, and with those multiple different types, you have different price points. I'm gonna get back to that. Second, what's something that you want to purchase? A dream thing that you want to purchase?
A dream thing.
Yes.
So my dream right now is to save, brother.
Okay, I like that. I like that. You gave me a curveball. Why are you saving?
Because I realized that I need to start thinking more in the long term. I need to also, I think the pandemics was a huge reminder that if you don't really invest and save your money right now, in the moment of crisis, like, you could really be in a really bad situation. And I think that's really like, again, I'm fortunate and blessed to be in a situation where I'm able to realize that. So now I'm also want to, like, at the end of the day, I want to respect and honor my work ethic. Like, absolutely. I want to keep my own money.
Absolutely.
I want to look at my bank account and be like, this is mine. Absolutely. I'm not out there just like, but also, like, I really, like, we got to value money.
I like that.
We got to value money, because you put so much work into everything that you earn. It deserves the same level of respect as you respect yourself.
So are you valuing the money, or are you valuing yourself?
I'm actually valuing. I'm valuing myself.
Which is a behavior.
Yep.
Based upon an emotion. Right? So the reason why I asked that question is this. There's two sides to that. The first side is recognizing one's own worth. What am I worth to myself? Not to my job, not to my kids. What am I worth to myself? What am I going to pay myself based upon that worth? Right? I've gotten to a point in my life where, unless I'm working for myself, you cannot ask me to work for you for less than $50K, right? And that's just me knowing that that's the amount of money that I need at the baseline. Not, I need to be paid. No. That's the amount of money that I need baseline in order to fuel this machine that I'm building that's economic. It ain't about me.
It's powerful.
It's about the machine that I have built, right? It's about the structure that I have built. So I am still, in a way, valuing myself based upon valuing the dollar that I have earned, right? You ain't earned this for me, my boy. You signed the check, but you ain't do the work, right? Aki, you said that you wanted a Tesla.
Yes, sir.
That's the 2-door, right? No, that's the 4-door.
Yeah.
It's 4-door, right? There are 3 different models, and they all run anywhere from $65K to like upwards of like $110, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
How do you plan on affording that?
Ultimately, through my investments.
Okay.
Yeah.
I see you popping off with the Airbnb. Yeah. Yeah. I need to get on that with you, my boy. I was
Akeem.
like, oh,
Let me plug in.
Akeem is the man with a plan.
man with a super plan,
With
boy.
a super plan.
He move in silence like Jesus and LaJohn. He was like, oh, I got an Airbnb.
Go ahead and book that Penrich
Imagine
Manor.
the different vocabulary Akeem's
listed
using
in a couple
right
of
now.
days.
I'm talking about money over here. He's talking about assets.
He's like, assets and liabilities. I'm like, liability. Let's go with a liability, right? I'm going to tell y'all what changed my mindset, man. No cap. So I went out to Miami last October in 2020. And I had a conversation with a multi-millionaire foreign exchange and indices trader. Shout out to Q Banks, right? Quillen Black. Go follow him on Instagram. I went out.
I've seen some of his interviews.
Yeah. No. Actually, he's my mentor. I actually went out. Yeah, I went out and I spent the day with him in his condo.
Oh, wow.
Man, because I actually did some content for him.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I did. Actually, it's similar to what it is that we're talking about here. I put it on this course.
Oh, word.
It's cracking.
Okay.
Like, my man's paid for me to go out there, come back, all that. My man's, he pulled up in the Tesla. I was like, hey, yo, this is kind of cracking. Went to my man's crib. Bro got a Lamborghini, a Pista. No, he has a Lamborghini SV and a Lamborghini SVJ.
Oh, man.
A Pista. He just bought a 812 Superfast, one of 18 in the world.
Wow.
Right?
Wow.
That's an asset. That's not a liability.
Right.
Why? Because it's a collectible. But here's the thing. I'm gonna tell you when my mindset changed. He was like, "How much is enough to you?" And I was like, "Well, for me, enough is rotating.
Yeah.
For me, enough would be $450,000 per annual rotating. That's enough for me."
Yeah.
He said, "You already fucked up." I said, "What do you mean?" He said, "You're contextualizing enough in terms of numbers instead of what it is that you actually want." Right? So he continued to break it down further. He was like, "How much money do you think I make per month?" Or I asked him, I was like, "Bro, how much money do you actually make per month?"
Yeah.
He told me. I'm not gonna put his business out there. But brother, this was last year now.
Yeah.
This was last year.
Yeah.
6 figures, high 6 figures, a month. A month.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm talking about upwards of like school superintendents at the top salary a month.
Yeah.
Rotating, right? I asked him how much his expenses were. He was like, this number. I did the math in my head. I was like, bro, you're operating at a 1 to 15 debt to income ratio. 1 to 15. 1 to 15. That means that this man can relive his month 15 times over and still be cool. Bro, I'm trying to be like that man when I get older.
Yeah, that sounds like
1 to 15. Has a house and a condo. His condo was in Brickell, downtown Miami. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
One of the tallest buildings in South Florida. The view was amazing, right? Whole time, me and this man blowing down. You feel me?
Yeah.
Trees.
Yeah.
So in my mind, I'm like, yo. When we think about what enough is, far too often we conceptualize the amount of money that we feel like we need in order to provide for the people around us, right? This is what he said that killed me. Bro, from Jamaica, right? He was like, how you gonna provide for other people when you haven't provided for yourself? Why are you concerned about what everybody else needs? You need to put yourself first. Right? It's almost like trying to pluck the fruit from a tree that's not through growing. You still have to care for that seedling. Otherwise, you won't be able to get that yield. You feel what I'm saying? So if you are going to be the person that's breaking the financial generational curses through mental acuity and mental clarity, you have to be selfish. Right? And actually, let me back up. Not being selfish, but being a selfist. There's a difference between the two. Somebody who is selfish, and I tell this to my clients all the time, somebody who is being selfish has no plan of putting back into the environment. They are simply taking to take. Somebody who is a selfist understands how you as an organism contributes to the greater whole based upon how it is you engage with that environment.
I like that word. So I like that word.
Selfish.
Yeah, I like that.
Hey, knowledge rules supreme over nearly everything. KRS-One, right? That's where I learned it from. So, once again, we've been having this conversation for a smooth, like 40 minutes. I've only named one number. One. And this is my point. holistic financial wellness, the way that I engage with it, financial therapy, the way that I engage with it, has very little to do with numbers. Why are you spending money the way that you are doing? What are you attempting to achieve? When do you want to achieve it? And how do you plan on achieving it? Because if your strategy is not efficient, it will not come to fruition.
See, so you gotta be thinking about money differently. You gotta be thinking about money differently.
A lot of people want to be millionaires and don't have the slightest clue as to how to do it. And there are literally, as many zeros are in millionaire, there are ways to become a millionaire. Plus millions more, right? But because people hop from strategy to strategy, they never see it to fruition. And once again, all of that comes back to emotions and behaviors. Right? You can't make money on the job if you're always late. You feel what I'm saying? You can't be the best at your job if you don't study. You feel what I'm saying? You can't see the bang in your buck if you don't put that buck somewhere where it can bang. You don't see it. You feel me? All of these things are relative to how it is that you even look at money. So that goes into my next question. How do y'all perceive money?
How do we perceive money?
Yes.
I see money as a tool.
Okay.
It's a tool. Money is useful. It's a tool of exchange.
For goods and services.
For goods and services.
Hey, I know that definition, my boy.
I mean, hold on. I know you could go a little bit deeper than that.
You exchange money for value in different ways.
Do you?
Yeah. I mean.
As a black man, do you feel like you're paid your worth?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
So are they really paying you?
That's a good. You make a good point. Well, I guess where I'm coming from is like if I'm spending money, then I'm spending money on something that, you know, to be honest, the $15 quesadilla I had from Quiroba, I don't think it was worth $15 in my opinion, but is the idea that this quesadilla is, you know, is worth a certain amount of money, and I exchanged, it's worth something, and I exchanged money for it in return. You know.
Okay. I perceive money as a means to an end.
Okay.
It's a means to an end. Right. Just like any other tool that you use, it's a means to an end. Right. An end is not permanent. End is not something that's absolute. End is relative to the goal that you are attempting to seek. Right? So let's say, for example, your outcome goal was the Airbnb. I'm almost certain that there were particular investments placed into that in order for that to come to fruition. That was used as a means to an end. Does that make sense? So you're absolutely correct. Money is a tool that is used in exchange for goods and services. Absolutely correct. Right? Based upon perceived value. So it's not just in exchange for goods and services. Based on perceived value. Right? Which is the reason why, in my mind, when I talk about money and when I talk about how I perceive money, I perceive it as a means to an end. But what is my end? What is my goal? What is my outcome? Right? In order for me to build a house, I have to build it brick by brick. But what type of house am I building? Am I building a mansion? Am I building a bungalow? Am I building a shotgun house? It all depends on what you are building that house for. You dig what I'm saying? So when we talk about the perception of money is usually associated not with an outcome, but with an emotion. Money makes me feel happy. Debt makes me feel sad. Need makes me feel anxious. My money ran out before the month did. Now I'm in a state of anxiety. Right? Very rarely do we think about money in terms of just its flat fiat, what it is. Because even money itself doesn't retain its value. It does not retain its value. It doesn't. So how do we then build financial ecosystems personally for ourselves so that we pay ourselves what it is that we know we are worth? Right? Which is the reason why, for me, black people especially, we need to understand how to diversify our, not only just our income, but our perceptions of value.
That's another jam.
That's another place to breathe.
I wish I had We actually gotta take a moment. Sometimes we gotta pause. We gotta pause Odie. We gotta pause him because we need time again to process these profound knowledge right now, man. Right. Brother, you are wise, man. We got a wise brother in the building. Shout out to Odie, man. You know, it's just what it's so powerful about what you're sharing with us is how we need to think differently about money.
Absolutely.
Not from this artificial standpoint or transactional standpoint, but from an emotional standpoint. Because everything, again, starts with your emotions.
Absolutely, right? Which then changes the entirety of the entirety of the sentence. So now you're not looking at money, you're looking at value.
My question for you is then, if money, how we spend money is connected to how we feel emotionally, then should we come to a conclusion that how much money somebody has is a reflection of their behavior? And then then we get to a point like if you're on a date, right, and you meet somebody, should you start asking questions like, yo, what's your credit?
Okay.
So that's my question for you, right?
Okay. So you're talking about the relationship between essentially money and accountability.
Yeah.
Okay. So here's the thing. There are elements of class, there are elements of elitism, and there are elements of what's the word I'm looking for? Not prejudice. Privilege inherent in that question, right? If a person has a lot of money, does that mean that their behaviors were aligned in such a way where they just got a lot of money? Sometimes yes, sometimes no. I know a multitude of people who have worked their way to their millions. I know some people who have inherited those millions. Either way, how you get it is not the point. It's how you keep it, right? This is what I mean by that. You have a person who is a millionaire on paper, right? On paper. In their accounts, they're living check to check. They're a millionaire on paper. They're a millionaire in their tax records. But in their actual liquid accounts, they are living check to check. How is that possible?
Expenses too high.
Expenses too high, right? Or it could be the fact that they put too much into their investments and they're illiquid at this point in time. That's what happened to Kanye.
Yeah.
Right? That's what happened to Elon Musk.
Yeah.
Right? My man's was a millionaire, a multi-millionaire couch surfing.
Right.
Right?
Right.
Why? Because his money is being placed in investments. Now here's my question. Is that person irresponsible?
Not necessarily.
Not necessarily.
You sure? It depends on who you're asking. Because once again, going back to that idea of primary reinforcers. Right? If you ain't got no house, no food, nowhere to wash your ass, are you being responsible with your money? You have a lot of investments, you got a lot of assets, but you ain't got nowhere to wash your ass yet. Are you being responsible with your money?
I mean, listen. I think you have to, in that kind of case, also bring in to the equation what one values. So if you don't,
that's the reason why I say this about values and not money.
Right. And we definitely gotta continue the conversation from there, because could you end it with that we need to change the conversation from money to value, like to values, and black people need to change. What did you say? Black people need to change how we perceive value.
Right?
Yeah.
Because we tend to perceive value from a space of that's not worth that much. We tend to perceive things from a space of that's not worth that much. That's projection. Because we do it the most with black-owned businesses. So what does that say?
Can you can I pause you and I want you to unpack
that we don't
that
so
we
in that case, are you saying we don't value our own, or we don't value what we produce, or because when I think about that, I think, you know, you mentioned black-owned businesses. I also think about, let's say, neighborhoods that get gentrified.
Right. Now, let's back it up even further. Is it that we really don't value our own productions, or do we not get enough funding from the environment in order to produce something that is aligned with our values? Right? Because think about it. Graffiti is a world-renowned art form.
Yeah.
World-renowned. In the 80s, in New York, there were actual task forces to make sure that graffiti was nowhere to be found. It was not until somebody outside of the culture validated this to have value that then the rest of the culture began engaging with it as if though it has value. Right? So I don't want this to be a conversation of quote unquote victim blaming, because I am here to tell you that yearly black people lose billions of dollars simply in property value, simply because we're black.
Right.
For no other reason other than we are black. I have done the research. The black tax is a very, very real thing. And I can show you all the way back from 40 Acres and a Mule, the Homestead Act. The 40 Acres and a Mule that we were supposed to get was given to Caucasian farmers so that they could continue to rebuild the South after the Civil War. That was the Homestead Act. Right?
Yeah.
All of the rest of the financial, I guess, redlining or oppression came from that point. Because they needed to make a separate class so that even poor white people could say, at least I'm not black. At every turn, they denigrated our value. So we have internalized that we are not worth it. We are afraid to ask for our worth. We are not willing to pay each other what we are owed. We will haggle up and down with black. Oh, we expect more from y'all. How? Have you ever tried to go get a loan as a black person? Have you ever tried to go through the space of entrepreneurship as a black person? It is not easy, and it has nothing to do with work ethic. It has everything to do with the immediate devaluation of your products because you are black. And we perpetuate that myth amongst ourselves extensively.
It becomes part of the everyday conversation.
Absolutely. 100%. We say we want more black-owned businesses, we want this, we want that, but as soon as something goes wrong, we jumping down their throats. That comes from our value of, I guess you could say, tough love. That's one of our values, right? You need to do better, therefore I'm gonna air you out. What sense does that make?
It's so powerful what you share, Odie, because, and I think this also goes by like the media campaign of like demasculating or having the media having certain perceptions of black people.
Right.
I think that it's all part of this idea of like you're talking about, like us black people internalizing those negative stereotypes, those negative imagery, and that's impacting how we even like view certain values.
Absolutely.
Because I also think the media also play a huge part into that.
Absolutely. We as black people, but here's the funny thing.
Yeah.
Go ahead. I'm listening.
I mean, it's changing a little bit. We make it some problem, but go ahead. I want you to just.
We in total as black people have $1.3 trillion of spending power as a collective. Not only that, we have access to a plethora. When I say a plethora of spaces where we can invest and engage and grow our money. The reason why we do not is because every other space that is open for investment is primarily in spaces that are black or brown. I need y'all to really think about that, not just in the space of the United States, but globally. Where is China investing its money now?
Africa.
Nigeria.
Yeah.
Right? Where is the next technological hub popping up at? Kenya.
Kenya, yep.
Yeah.
Right? Nigeria has the largest GDP of any African nation, and it's 99.9% black. But it also has one of the largest rifts in wealth versus poverty.
Yeah.
Right? Once again, we as black people in the United States have access to funds that other black people in the diaspora do not have, simply from proximity to whiteness. Simply from proximity, right? But that also means, and I really need y'all to think about what it is that I'm saying, and everybody who's listening, watching, I need y'all to hear what it is that I'm saying. Based upon that reality, we are also the people who have the most amount of power to siphon out most of the money that we collectively circulate through the United States. And we have a multitude of vehicles to do it, and one of the most powerful vehicles that we have to do it through is hip-hop. Hip-hop is black created. People think that it's not black owned, but it really is. Because if all the hip hop artists were to at the same time decide to not only just go on strike, but become insular, what could these large production companies really do about that? What could they really do?
It will crash the system.
It would crash the system, absolutely, right? Beyonce by herself can drop an album and crash Google. By herself. That's one person.
It's the power of the diaspora.
Thank
man.
you, bro. Thank you.
About the power that we have. When will we recognize its power, man? Because
I think that we're recognizing it, and I think that it's coming. I think that it is coming. I think this evolution, this transcendence is coming. I think what's going on is that because, once again, this is just our generation, right? Because y'all know the next wave is decentralized finance.
Right.
DeFi is the next wave.
Yeah.
If black people hop on DeFi and really start learning DeFi, this can happen literally within the next 10 years.
Yeah.
Within the next 10 years.
Yeah, 100%.
Right? Insular NFT marketplace, you sell all the black art, all of the black things, right? An insular exchange where you can sell whatever it is that you want based upon a blockchain technology that is created by people in Kenya, and you have a coin associated with it. You install it in Akon's Power City. Done. And it just circulates from there, because then it has a pin value, right? The only reason why the dollar has the value that it has is because it was pinned to gold. I'm sorry. The only reason why gold had the value that it had is because it was pinned to the dollar. It's one of those two things, right? But they unpinned them.
Your dollar was pinned to gold.
Right, the dollar was pinned to gold, right? Because gold was something that was perceived to be valuable at the time, they utilized that perceived value in order to create a piece of paper that signifies that this is what this is worth. I'm gonna tell you something crazy, and it's gonna blow your mind. Did you know that slaves used to be on bills?
On bills? Like on the... Nah, I didn't know that.
On currency. Do you wanna know why?
come on, brother.
Because they were considered property?
They were considered property. They were considered things, not people.
That's great.
Yeah.
Things of value. Things of value. In so much so that when all of the slaves were released, the slave masters got paid because we were insured.
Yeah.
Right? So once again, I feel like I'm entitled to this money because motherfucker is mine. Right? Y'all didn't earn this money. Y'all really didn't earn this money. I can prove to you that you didn't earn this money because based upon the Homestead Act, and I forget what the other act is, I forget and I really wish I could call it. But to this day, still impacts at least anywhere from 1 to 5 million white families. To this day. Traceable.
Yeah.
You feel what I'm saying? So once again, it's this conversation largely, and it's not about money. Right. It's about value. What do you value as an individual that will help you to continue to grow, even if you don't want to grow it? Just be disciplined with your funds.
Right.
Because if your values are all over the place, your money's gonna be all over the place. Because you're constantly gonna be exchanging money for things that you value.
God,
It's a lot of gems, man.
damn. You said if your values are all over the place,
your money is
gonna be all over the place.
Yeah.
Because you're consistently exchanging money for the things that you value.
Exactly. And your values is connected to your emotions. Connecting the dots, man.
Listen, that's all I do all day.
Connecting the dot.
I be in there like Rain Man. Y'all see this shit?
Odie's like, I'm gonna tell you who you are today.
Because you got that seed. You will see her.
I'll show you your future. If you take one of my advice.
Oh my God. But yeah, man, and it's the thing. Like,
We got Odie in the building, man. Shout out to you, brother.
Shout out to Odie, man.
The knowledge that you have, brother, it's like, man, you were blessed. It's like this. It's like I gotta tell you, man. I have a lot of smart friends, but man, you at the top. Appreciate your wisdom, your knowledge. I appreciate your vulnerability.
Most definitely.
I appreciate you for just coming on our talk show and just keeping it real.
100.
For everybody who's currently tuning in with us,
But
please make sure to go like our page, subscribe to the channel. If you like what King Odilakachi,
The rest of the name.
rest of the name, W.H. Unwukwe. No, we gotta give him the full.
The full government.
the full name.
You know, yeah, definitely,
respect.
you know, show the support. But we also want to talk about the course itself.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if you can break down the course, and is this something that you could purchase?
Yeah.
I just want, so how much is the course, and then what can people expect when they purchase it?
Okay, so the course itself is $135, right?
Okay.
And the course is, and I really hope my phone don't die on TikTok, that would be ass. But the course is essentially, I call it the financial reconstruction course, right?
Okay.
It started because when I was in grad school, in order for me to get my grants, I worked between the College of Liberal Arts and Social Sciences and the School of Business Administration at Florida Agricultural Mechanical University, right? So FAMU has one of the best, hands down, business programs in the nation. One of the best, right? So between the two of them, I was on this grant called the Minority and Recruitment Strategies Grant. So essentially, our job was to literally go into underdeveloped communities and figure out how to teach them financial literacy, right? In my research, I learned two things. One, financial literacy is only as relevant as your values. It is only as relevant as your values. And it is only as relevant as your values at that point in time. Right? I can't tell you about credit repair if your credit is a 740. That's useless information.
Right.
I can't tell you about investing in a commercial property when you can't get your bills paid.
Right.
That's useless information. I have to meet you where you are. Right? My course meets people where they are. And for most people, where they are as it relates to financial mindfulness is right where y'all were, which is I've never even thought about it that way.
Right.
I've never even connected those two dots.
Right.
So the course connects those dots with and alongside you, and it's not a very long course because it's a living course. So the more information I learn, the more updated. So like it's due for an update. I want to say January 2022 because that's when I'll have a little bit more time to update it. But it's due for an update, right? But in the course itself, it's broken down into, you know, what is financial literacy? How do we utilize it? How does it relate to our psychology? What do these things really look like in action? Behavioral economics, nudges, how the way that the grocery store set up impacts the way that it is that you buy things, marketing and how marketing literally is designed to make you spend money based upon color psychology and particular marketing at particular times. Like all of these things are relevant. So I'm gonna give you an example. You ever notice that McDonald's that are close to freeways, their arches are higher than regular McDonald's?
I mean, how did you say it? You know, how do you say
The
it?
McDonald's that are further in, their arches are shorter. The McDonald's that are closer to the expressway, their arches are longer. Right? Another fun fact: did you know that gas prices are usually higher off the interstate? You want to know why? Just think about it.
I mean, you kind of have, because there's more distance between gas stations, so you're gonna stop. You're more likely to stop and just pay the higher price when you're driving on interstate versus if you're local. You know, you might go look for another station.
It's a demand. The demand is there, right? All of these things are marketing ploys that companies use literally to take money out of your pockets because you are not thinking about them. You're not, right? So me, for example, before I go grocery shopping, I always eat. I eat before I grocery shop, without a doubt. Why? Because I know I'm going to be able to stick to my budget. Right? Or like, if I'm going on a road trip, I'll only stop if I absolutely have to, or I'll look at how long the road trip is, and then I'll look at gas prices along the way to see where it is that I need to fill up. And I don't even really go on road trips like that for real, so you feel me?
Odie, you should let us know this before we have taken that trip to Vegas. Bad news. What you just share with us, brother? It could have been a whole different outcome.
Oh man.
Hey
Come on, man.
Listen.
But it's never too late.
Absolutely,
It's
bro.
never too late.
Absolutely.
My pockets have been a little less flat. I know.
Let me tell you.
You didn't even come on.
Bro, let me tell you what happened with the Vegas trip, bro, because it was out of pocket. So I literally got the job, lost the job in the same week. I was like, y'all, yes.
That's crazy.
Yes. So the day that I text y'all, I was like, yo, I'm down, I'm ready, boom, boom. 3 days later, I get an email from, fuck them motherfuckers. I get an email and it basically says, we need you to get on this Zoom call. I'm like, yeah, cool, because I've been asking them to put me on schedule.
Right.
They get on the call and basically they say, yeah, we're no longer gonna need your services. I was only in there one time. What I do? They were like, essentially, because they were doing an intake, they wanted me to just sit there and be quiet. I've never met this person in my life. This person has never met me in my life. And if you know, and this person was a whole, she had an MD, MD, PhD, something like that. I'm like, you know about client interactions. You know that if somebody's just sitting there staring at you with a weird ass, you're gonna be less likely to engage or open up. I brought her some coffee. We talked. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And that's not what they valued. So my pockets was flat. And then for me, the thought was, and the emotion was, fuck, now I'm gonna look irresponsible to these two gentlemen who have taken the time to put the things together for themselves and for me for this to get done. They were already patient with me to begin with. Do you see, once again, how quickly all of those things go into one another? And my course covers all of those things. And it's gonna continue to cover it because it's a living course. You feel me?
So I mean, we're definitely gonna put in the description, a link to Odie's course. I don't know about Sekou, but I'm definitely gonna be checking out that course too.
I think we all need to check out that course, man. It's what's that? It's a requirement. Yeah. All right.
That's what it's required reading right there.
To just add some improvement and growth in your life. And, if you're one of those people who all about growth mindset, get on his course.
Oh yeah.
All right?
Oh yeah.
That's a fact.
I'm a growth mindset boy. That's me.
Yourself, man.
And you said it's updated too, like you update it all the time.
Every time, and that's my selling point. Every time I learn something, y'all will learn it. Every time I learn something new, y'all will learn something new. So basically, the course right now is based upon 4 or 5 books altogether. The Psychology of Money, Profit First, Financial Therapy, and Financial Counseling within Individuals. Right. The last 2 are textbooks. The first 2 are books that are action and process based. Yeah. Right. also based upon the research that I have been doing for the past I graduated in 2017, it's 2021. So like the past 5 or 6 years. So it's not just me throwing stuff out. It's not, all of this is evidence based. Right. All of this is, it's what I use to create my master's thesis. So this is not just me saying, oh, these are the things that I use. No. Right. This is backed in science. And once again, my course, when you go through my course, you will not see a number. Not one. There are no numbers. And I have been getting nothing but rave reviews from people who are neurotypical, and this is the crazy part about it, people who are neuroatypical. So people who have ADHD, people who have, executive functioning disorders. They're like, yo, I really like this course. And I'm like, damn, that's something there, boy. So we in there.
That's hard.
We're in there, man. Odie in the building.
Yo.
Chief Odie in the building.
Before we start wrapping up, we want to ask you about your experience with TikTok, because we know that there's been a lot of gravitation towards TikTok in the last, let's say, year or a couple years, and we know you've built your account up quite a lot, and we know you're on there right now as well. Shout out to Odie's TikTok.
Man,
we got a couple of people rocking. It's 14, but they
rolling up.
What's your experience on TikTok been like versus Instagram, and how has it been growing your account?
All right, so first and foremost, TikTok's metrics are much different from Instagram's, right? So in my mind, somebody is Instagram famous when they got like 10, 15K followers on Instagram. Because Instagram, it takes you longer based upon the, not the analytics, based upon the, what is it called? The algorithm. Based upon the algorithm, it takes you a little bit longer to grow, right? TikTok's algorithm takes you a little bit longer to grow as well, but because it's a tier-based algorithm, it increases your ability to scale faster if you are consistent and if you have a theme, and if people truly resonate with what it is that you're talking about or doing.
What do you mean a tier-based?
So tier-based, based upon my research into the analytics and to the algorithm of TikTok, it's tier-based. So think about it in terms of like a TV pilot. Okay. Right? You throw the TV pilot out to a test group, and the test group gives you information as to whether or not somebody's going to pick up that pilot. Once somebody picks up that pilot, then the network distributes it to the rest of the people based upon what it is that they watch within that period of time. Does that make sense?
And is this all based on the algorithm? So when you say someone picks it up, is it somebody, let's say reposting it on TikTok, or?
Yes. So TikTok, the same way that Instagram has an explore page, TikTok has a For You page. And the For You page is essentially where the most popular things of the day get pushed, right? So the For You page is essentially where the pickup happens. Gotcha. It's like, we're going to start putting this out to other people based upon their interest. We're going to start pushing this to other people based upon their interest.
Gotcha.
Once you begin growing your follower base, then your follower base becomes that space of pickup. Does that make sense?
Right.
So when you're first starting out on the platform, the person who helped me to scale my TikTok, her name is Hope Giselle. She's an amazing person. She's an activist for the LGBTQI community. She put me on game, right? I was like, all right, cool. I'm gonna use these strategies and I'm gonna grow my TikTok. So I started off with a consistent thing. I did my research on the analytics, stuff like that, and I hit like 10 or 15K within my first like 2 or 3 months. Right? Wow. And then my growth started slowing down. I was like, what do I need to do? Like, what's going on? That's when I really started researching the analytics. That's when I started researching, what do I need to do in order to grow this following? And turns out, the way that TikTok's algorithm is not only tier-based, but it's gamified. Right? So it switches. It changes based upon whatever's going on around and within it. Right? So as I grew, as I learned, like, bro, I look at the TikTok algorithm changes every month, not because I'm just obsessed with the platform, because I see the potential in my ability to construct a brand around utilizing TikTok as a funnel to the other things that I do.
Listen, and now when you say you look at the algorithm, is there is it based on like you observe what's happening on the platform, or is there somewhere specific that you go and it says this is?
Oh, go on YouTube. YouTube University, bro. You can learn everything on YouTube, right? So there are people, everything, bro.
YouTube will change your life.
Aki's a huge fan.
YouTube will change your life.
YouTube will change, but it's crazy, bro, because it's like, yo, I promote my YouTube, but not a lot, bro. Like I have 258, 260 subscribers that I don't have to promote for because all I do is utilize my TikTok as a funnel. Every day I look up, it's 2 or 3 or 4 more subscribers on my YouTube, not my TikTok, my YouTube. Right? I've already started, and once again, I learn particular tips, tricks. So I record my YouTube sessions every Sunday. Okay. Right? I don't immediately post them. I have backlogged at least 6 episodes. Right? A whole season of recorded joints, right? I've been telling my TikTok followers, and I gotta apologize to y'all, that's my fault. I've been telling my TikTok followers since 20,000 followers. This was back in the summer. 20,000, like, I'm gonna get this done for y'all. Then I went in a rabbit hole. I was like, I want this shit to be perfect. I want the like my values, right? And then it was like, okay, I just need to just start putting out content. I just need to start putting it out. So Sunday I dropped my first episode, right? And it was just an introductory joint, right? But now that the ball is rolling, I'm like, all right, we're gonna rock this out. So all together, when we're talking about growth, the thing that Hope said to me, she was like, it's not the momentum that's hard, it's the building that's hard. Once you get through the building phase, the momentum comes through itself. Because the thing about social media is that if you are good at what you do, you do not have to advertise. People will advertise for you. Brother, when I say I have been popping up on random people's pages, like when I say random, I'm like, bro, I will get notifications on Instagram like repost. I'm like, I don't even know you got. Well, thank you though. I appreciate you. Right? I had somebody draw fan art of me this week, bro. It was crazy, bro. So it's like, it's just really wild.
You can't deny you are TikTok famous at that.
It comes down to this. Odie, your impact is like just growing, man. And I think like I just hope that your impact will just go as far to every human beings on this earth, because bro, what you talking about right now is a game changer. And we just want you to just continue to have this impact on so many people.
I'm trying.
Because you are definitely the mover and shaker that we are honored to have, and we just want everyone to hear your voice. So again, for everyone who's tuning in today, don't forget, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube page, leave your comment.
See that right there? Pepper Soup Talk. Yeah, I need y'all to subscribe.
It's the voice of the diaspora right here.
Make sure you join us. We got a lot more content for you. Again, this is a space for us. This is a space where we just keep it real and talk about that black experience, right?
Yes, sir.
What's YouTube channel based around?
So my YouTube, this is gonna sound kind of petty, but I essentially want my YouTube channel to be the antithesis to Kevin Samuels. I want to put that motherfucker out of business. Kevin Samuels. I want to put him out of business. I want to put him out of business, bro. So if anybody is listening, hit me up. My name's super long. I'm still taking people to be on Odie's office, bro. Listen. I'm providing that content, but not to put him out of business though, but providing context. Right. Balancing the conversation.
You gotta have balance.
That's awesome. Odie, you're on your way up, bro. You're on your way there, man.
What can people
Stay consistent, find, man.
I heard my name's super long.
Yep, my name super long is my handle on everything, whether it be Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and also on YouTube. I am Odie's Office, right? So ODI ' office, like the word office.
And Odie, we ask every guest to come on our talk show this last question. Last question. So, if you could imagine a 13-year-old version of yourself, given everything that you know right now, what advice would you have for him?
Do not base your perceptions of your future on your current reality, because you never know what could come to fruition during the period of time that your tears are watering those seeds. Yeah.
We're gonna end it with
Odie, it's been an honor and a pleasure.
Most definitely.
Odie, man. Come on, go ahead.
This is Pepper Soup Talk. We'll catch you on the next one.
Yes, sir.
Peace out, folks.